AITA for forcing my daughter to remove the Do Not Disturb feature from her phone. My daughter, 16F, has her phone on Do Not Disturb all the time. At first, it wasn't an issue since she would still answer my texts and calls whenever she is out at practice. For the past few weeks, she has stopped answering my texts and calls, and she wouldn't receive them since I'd ask her why she wasn't answering and she'd claim she didn't get them. I am not stupid. Her phone is on Do Not Disturb and none of my texts and calls are going through. I'd ask my other daughters to see if they can reach out to her whenever she is out just to ask her what time she might be home. No answers. My oldest, 22F, would try to call, text, FaceTime, you name it in order to ask her when she might be home. Over the weekend, my daughter had to attend an event at school, and when I came to go pick her up, she went MIA and wasn't answering any of my texts and calls since again, the Do Not Disturb feature was on. I started to get frustrated over it, so when my daughter finally entered the car, I told her that she needs to start answering my calls and texts, and she had no reason to ignore me when she knew I was going to pick her up. My daughter gave me the excuse of, oh, I didn't see it again. My frustration turned into anger, so I start yelling at her and said, none of us are able to easily get a hold of you. Something that normally takes 2 minutes takes 20 or more since we can't seem to get you to answer the phone. Your father and I have been worried sick whenever you don't answer the phone. I then told her she has two choices, either she removes the Do Not Disturb or her phone gets taken away for a week. My daughter rolls her eyes and said it isn't fair for her to not be allowed to have the Do Not Disturb feature. I said she needs to start answering her phone or at the very least, call us back right away. I said that if she doesn't comply, her phone will be taken away. She begged me not to take her phone, so I said she needs to remove the Do Not Disturb feature. She refused once again. When we got home, I told her if she doesn't want her phone taken away, she needs to remove the Do Not Disturb feature. After some back and forth, my daughter removes the feature right in front of me before running to her room in tears. Now, before anyone thinks otherwise, I did allow her to have the phone on Do Not Disturb as long as she answers our calls and texts. We'd have to call her more than once to get a hold of her, but she is completely unreachable. I think I was too harsh, but I was at my wit's end. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Some of you are thinking I am spamming my daughter with phone calls and texts while she's at school. I do not message her during school hours. The issue is taking place after school or on the weekends. My daughter most of the time does not tell anyone where she's going, doesn't ask for permission when she wants to go out with friends, and would sneak out of the house every time her father and I are out of the house. None of my other children would have no knowledge of where she is, and even they'd ask her, but she won't answer her phone. Sometimes my son will ask her if she could buy him something from McDonald's or if they can go to Target together. We did speak to her before and said she can keep her phone on Do Not Disturb and we would never call her or text while she is in class. My daughter has also been lying to us about where she'd go. She'd ask to borrow the car to go get food, but would come home 2 hours later. I'd call her after 45 minutes, but the phone would go straight to voicemail. She normally does tell us if she's going to class or practice, but whenever she goes out outside of those times and doesn't tell us, she will not answer the phone. It's like she's hiding. Some are suggesting I take car keys away. The problem with that is, if there's a car available, she will leave. She's taken my oldest daughter's car a few times, and when she'd ask where she's going, she would say none of your business. My oldest hid the car keys from her, and it would be met with manipulation and my daughter crying and screaming. As stated in the first edit, we do not text or call our daughter during school. My daughter takes the car when my husband and I are not here and if there is another car available. If there's no car available, she won't go. My daughter is on spring break this week and I have spoken to her this morning and I have taken her car keys. She will not have it back for a long time is all I'm going to say. Not until my husband and I are able to trust her again. My husband and I will have a serious sit down with her when he gets off from work this afternoon.